We hope you've got some energy for this next segment. The Illinois House is reconvening tomorrow for what they hope will be the penultimate chapter of years-long energy negotiations. Amanda Vinicky joins us now with the latest. Amanda, where do things stand?
Well, Brandes, to say that negotiations have been going on for years is, in this case, not an exaggeration, but it really is, well, down to the wire for getting a far-reaching omnibus energy package passed, and that is because Exelon has been steadfast that it will begin to shut down its nuclear plant in Byron unless a bill is passed by Monday's end. And that would be a law that would have ratepayers paying an extra charge on electric bills to keep Exelon nuclear plants running. Advocates say that nuclear is needed to meet the package's broader goals, that is, of moving Illinois first to carbon-free, then to all renewable energy sources versus coming from natural gas and coal sources. Now, just last week, the Illinois Senate passed a measure that would do just that, and that package, as well as, by the way, there are some others floating around, have some things in common. The Exelon component, also the target of transitioning to all renewable energy, really within decades by 2050, and then also another subsidy, also paid for by ratepayers, that would help the state to get to that point of all renewable energy by creating a fund that solar and wind developers could draw on to move forward with their renewable energy projects. Now, all told, you could see customers paying $3.50 or so on their average monthly electric bill to cover both of those subsidies, those supports. Now, that part, at least, Brandes, is by and large settled.
So, Amanda, then what's the holdup?
Well, this really has to do with a coal-fired power plant, and it is called Prairie State Energy Campus, and that is in Marissa, so in the southwestern part of the state. It is Illinois' newest coal-fired power plant, and one that, according to federal data, is responsible for the 7th highest carbon emissions in the nation, with more than 12.6 million metric tons emitted in 2019, the latest we had data available. Now, while this plant itself is really in central Illinois, some 40 municipalities throughout the state have contracts to get exclusively their community's energy from Prairie State, and that includes suburbs like Rochelle, Batavia, and Naperville. Environmentalists, also Governor J.B. Pritzker, say any legislation that they agree to must have a hard date to close all coal-fired plants, including Prairie State. Now, the latest proposal would have Prairie State closed by 2045, but they also say it has to ratchet down emissions leading up to that date.
All of the climate scientists have said that it is a code red for humanity and that we need to move forward in reducing carbon emissions as quickly as possible. And that doesn't mean that they should stay on and squeak by and still emit carbon. We need to get rid of all of the carbon emissions related to the power sector. So having an end date for these sources and when they are going to close is incredibly important to be able to meet those goals.
But Prairie State has said that it can't afford what's really expensive carbon sequestration technology that could cost millions, if not even $1 billion or more dollars, if then it also has to prematurely close shortly thereafter. So a new proposal aims to solve that. This is a measure put forth by State Representative Marcus Evans. It adds another charge to ratepayers' electric bills of about 10 cents a month is what it would work out, and that would go to Prairie State to help pay for reducing emissions there. But in a statement you have from mayors of Breeze, Rochelle, and also an energy cooperative that has a contract with Prairie State, they say no dice to this new plan. That proposed language will require our residents and residents across Illinois to pay more money for less reliable power, all while sacrificing hundreds of good-paying jobs in the process. Ratepayers will be forced to live with the decision by lawmakers as it will be reflected in their electric bill for decades to come. Now, suburban Geneva is another town that would be on the hook. It has bond obligations to pay for a power agreement with Prairie State through 2041. And Mayor Kevin Burns says that he does back this transition to clean energy. But he says If Illinois is going to go that route, Geneva needs to be compensated if Prairie State is going to, as part of it, have to cut production before then. He told me this afternoon it will be a tsunami of rate increases if we are not provided some sort of soft landing financially, support from either the state, the feds, or a combination thereof. We are 100% behind this clean energy transition, but it has to be done in a way that communities like ours are not left in the dark. No pun intended. Now, environmental groups who are a key constituency in negotiations do support this latest version.
I see this pathway towards which we can be aligned and we can move forward to solve all of these critical issues together, including addressing the climate crisis, including saving jobs at energy facilities and solar jobs, including creating new workforce and equity programs throughout the state.
Walling says there is a pathway, but that pathway does require support from another major stakeholder, and that is organized labor. So far, an umbrella organizations for unions has not come out in favor of this new plan, with the spokesperson only saying it remains under review. Now, negotiations are continuing still this evening after state representatives met for hours about it today in a meeting that's been described as robust, a bit ruckus. Now, there is a lot at play here. Got climate change, jobs, electricity prices, more jobs. We could see even more proposals floated tonight, perhaps tomorrow, when the members of the House will be back in Springfield. Now, Illinois Environmental Council's Jen Walling says, despite the lack of an agreement at this late hour, she does believe that something is going to pass. She says she cannot imagine a scenario in which nothing happens. It's too big a risk, she says, politically and on other levels.
If we don't move forward with an energy package, the cost to Illinois is incredibly high. We're already in the midst of a pandemic where people's jobs are being impacted. And if we do not move forward with a package at all, it is going to mean, in our interests, we're very interested in what happens with those solar jobs. It's going to mean closures. It's going to mean a lack of economic investment in the state from the solar industry, as well as the closure of those nuclear facilities. And that could be just catastrophic.
Now, if the House does agree on pass a measure tomorrow, it still is going to need Senate approval. The Senate not set to be at the Capitol on Thursday, but they'll return Friday, perhaps Monday, if there is something for them to vote on. And again, if it is Monday, then it really will be down to the wire, because that is the final date. Exelon says something has to happen by, or again, that plant in Byron will be shuttered, the corporation says. With that, Brandis, back to you.
Okay, Amanda Lutz, thank you.